We're here at SlaterCon London in May 2024 with David Parry-Jones, Chief Revenue Officer of DeepL. Hi, David.
Hey, Florin. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, and congratulations on the funding that just was announced yesterday.
Yeah, thank you. It was a big day yesterday.
That was a big day and a new benchmark set for
Correct.
the language technology industry. So, well, now, with that funding, how do you differentiate the company, the product, in an age of like ubiquitous language AI?
Yeah, great question. I think nothing's changed there really for us. We've had to differentiate ourselves in a crowded market historically. I think that continues to be the case, and we remain best in class MT translation for the enterprise. And we continue to differentiate around quality, accuracy, security and compliance, which is pretty similar to what we've always done.
So can you just outline a little bit the best fit use cases for machine translation that you're seeing, and what are some of the biggest current users that you're seeing in the market?
Yeah, maybe if I split that first of all into inside the organization and outside the organization. I think firstly, inside organizations, anywhere where quality and accuracy is important, we're seeing the major deployments, whether that's legal or localizing information on your website, technical documentation, also in e-commerce a lot with accuracy and quality. And then outside the organization, obviously where you're a multinational global organization and wanting to localize, then we're seeing translation being used a lot in those use cases to really allow companies to rapidly expand into geographies.
Got it. So how do companies become aware that they should probably manage the way their employees use machine translation, that they just go out and use all kinds of systems out there? How do they become aware?
Yeah, I think I touched earlier on about security and compliance and data privacy. I think what we see is organizations where the translation heavy users are using compliant products like ourselves, the pro versions of our product, but we're also seeing quite heavy use of the consumer product from within organizations, and we can see that by registered users or ranges of IP addresses hitting the consumer product. And when we talk to customers, it's validation of the requirement for translation that they're obviously not providing for those employees within their organization, so they're having to go outside. And that's a big part of our strategy now, is extending the availability of that quality translation across the organization for what you could describe as occasional users who at the moment are hitting our consumer product, but also a number of other consumer products.
And so the consumer comes in, you notice it, and then you kind of jump over the fence to the enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation with a CXO in an enterprise would be, first of all, to validate the kind of quality, accuracy and the usage within those legal departments or the marketing departments, but then to highlight to them the number of users that are validating the need for translation outside of those departments, and then talking about a way of deploying our translation in a compliant way across their whole organization at a fraction of the cost as well.
You did mention security. Just dwell on that, maybe a couple of standards that are important, like if I'm, I don't know, a chief legal officer, big org, want to have my in-house counsels use it, is there some boxes that
Yeah, absolutely. I think historically this has always been one of our unique selling points. So coming out of Germany and coming out of Europe, we've always been compliant to any frameworks in the geographies that we operate within, and whether that's GDPR, whether it's SOC 2, whether it's our progress towards ISMAP in Japan, or being ISO certified, all of those standards we deploy, but also for users who don't realize this, we also deploy on our own hardware. So we deploy our hardware into data centers so we can manage the edge of our service ourselves.
Got it, got it. Future gazing crystal ball, technology progress next 2 years, same crazy pace we had in the past 2 years, or where do you see this going?
I think that's it. I think the easy answer to that is that it's going to be at least as quick or faster. I think the gains that the large language models are making around quality, and we're seeing that with our own large language model in deploying that quality and that context across translation now. I think the world is our oyster, and I think one of the challenges as well in the industry as a whole is for organizations and for regulators is guessing what the next use case is. Yeah. And I think for us that means that we need to be ahead of future compliance requirements in trying to guess where the technology is going so that we can be compliant for our customers. But the reality is that this space is only speeding up.
Absolutely. Well, David, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome. Thanks, Florin.
Thanks.